All right, guys, we're back. I'd like to thank everybody for sending us messages, text messages, shares, posts,
Voice
links, voice
messages.
messages, missed calls, missed texts about everything to do with the data center in Mount Shasta. Topic that went small town viral while we're working.
Trying to.
Trying to work. Trying to drive an 18 speed transmission truck up and down the valley. But everybody is going crazy over this thing.
Yeah. We get it is a hot button topic, so I get why it went crazy. And okay. There's a few things to unpack here. We are not dismissing that data centers are a huge concern, and we definitely are not saying that we think that we want one here, because we do not.
No.
One thing I would say is, in this age of social media, this is a good reminder that it's oftentimes easy to get swept up in the thing that you heard and run with it. If someone hears data center, Mount Shasta, immediately everyone goes nuts.
Wildfire.
But what's important to always keep in mind is we need to try to be mindful of context and not getting swept up by our emotions, and maybe pausing to get the full picture of what we're talking about before we run crazy. Because there's a lot of things that are worth running crazy for, but we also have to pace ourselves. And so, as always, we were at the meeting last night. So we were there in person when this came up.
We were boots on the ground.
We were right there.
In the room.
We saw it. And as always, at the end of the meeting, we gave a recap of the biggest things that happened. And we didn't mention it. And there's a reason we didn't mention it. And it's not because a data center isn't a big deal. The reason we didn't mention it is because in the full context of the way the conversation happened, it wasn't a major thing to get alarmed about, because there's nothing happening right now.
At all.
So the story for when we were there last night was the city manager, Todd, did bring it up because he did receive a phone call, and he wanted to be transparent and just say, hey, just so everyone's aware, I got this call and there's somebody that's interested in this. But if you had been in the room, and I know there's been a snippet of because they always broadcast it, it's available. You can go watch the whole recording and you can see it.
Which 85 of you did.
But most people didn't. Most people only, if they saw anything of it, any of the actual footage, they just saw a shortened clip.
Short 30-second clip.
Or maybe a couple minutes, but it was only a very short, it wasn't even the full announcement, and it didn't include the follow-up question that Mayor Casey Globman asked, and the back and forth that happened. And because it was like a tight shot on the question when Todd was speaking, it didn't include the wider shot of the full council, and you couldn't hear all the microphones the same that if you were in the room you would have heard it. You could hear audible gasps by
That's
people.
Us.
That's partly us, and then that's partly some of the city council and the city staff. The looks, the facial expressions from multiple staff and council were
everybody.
Shock and absolute disapproval.
No.
Yeah. The immediate response engaged from our side is our people that we have in leadership are not really into this idea. They do not think that it's a good idea as a whole. We also have to consider that these people, they're in a position where they have to at least hear out proposals that come their way. They can't just automatically shut everything down. They have to have a certain level of impartiality when it comes to public matters. So they have to at least take a phone call.
You got to hear business ideas. You can't just shut down.
Refuse to take phone calls.
Just because you hear an idea doesn't mean that
and they also have been in, because we've been at all these meetings for over a year now. So there has been talks about this particular property multiple times.
Many times.
And different ideas that are coming through. And we've ourselves even talked to people that have ideas of things that they would like to do there. And a lot of them would be much better for our community.
They're locals.
Much better for the environment, much better for a lot of other reasons.
Yeah.
And, just things are slow and they take time. And especially with a building that's, for a lot of people, very expensive. I know for certain entities or certain companies that price tag is not a lot, but for most average folks, it is a very large sum of money. So there's been a lot of people that have been trying to gather and make movements to turn it into something that would be good for the community. And we've spoken to different people, but it takes time to make things happen. It takes time to gather plans. And so this now is another someone who's got their eye on it and has thoughts on what they think they would like to do with it, but that doesn't mean that anything's happening. And there's been talk over the last year or so that we've heard of them, talking about maybe annexing and bringing that inside city limits, because right now it's not even inside city limits, it's county land. So there's been talk about, should this be now moved so that is inside city limits, so that certain things might be possible that aren't possible, the dividing lines and who's in charge, and there's a lot of ins and outs. So we didn't talk about it last night because he mentioned it. The immediate response was, oh, nobody really likes the sound of this. We have to hear them out. We have to at least hear a proposal. Nobody really is excited about this. Is there potential for annexing? Is there potential for other projects? What other projects could come? Let's open discussion more on those. If anything, maybe this is helpful because maybe it creates more urgency for other projects to move forward.
No, they're moving forward now. Matt, they're moving forward. So
maybe that's a good thing.
That's the only good thing.
But as far as, like our biggest poll last night was, it was a big deal that they had that discussion on the rent stabilization for the mobile home park. That's been an ongoing thing over the last 6 months.
6 months we've been talking about
There's been a back and forth, and some of the residents there have had a really hard time financially because of the increase in the cost of living at the mobile home park. So that was a big thing for as far as what we pulled out of it.
Yeah, way bigger.
Yeah.
Way bigger.
Yeah.
Because it took 6 months, and you've heard it from our mouth for the last 6 months, because that's actually what the council cares about. And so when this one little 30-second thought comes in and goes right out, that means the whole council doesn't care about it.
It's not anything immediately happening.
Nothing
anyway.
And if it was something, you would have heard it a long time ago for 6 months straight.
So,
but no.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything about a meeting on Friday. There's been rumors about that. As far as we know, there's nothing happening on that.
Twisted meetings.
There is, I believe, a special meeting happening on Monday, but that is only because they're running out of time to get the budget approved. And so they've been working through the budget items. They mostly have it done, but they don't quite have all the budget things reviewed yet. And so that's, as far as I know, that's the only other special meeting that they mentioned last night was they got to finish up a few budget items so that they can get the budget for next year approved before the deadline for July. But yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna move into I've read enough from enough people over enough platforms, and what I want to share with you is city council etiquette. Okay. And so we love the idea that many of you want to gather and bring your 3 minutes over to city council. We just wish it was every other week, every 2 weeks consistently for a year straight, and not just because of one dumb topic. That is not true in Mount Shasta. But you all want to come here for 3 minutes and speak your piece. That's fine. That's good. That works. The only courtesy and etiquette that I'm speaking of is that I need all of you to tailor your 3 minutes into a very respectful thought out way. There was at least 10 other different little sentences out there on 10 different groups that was taking it personal. If the council chooses to push this data center, we're going to threaten to take their seats, empty it out. No. Stuff about them choosing to go into data center equals tarring and feather. No. There's quite a few. Yeah. Hundreds of groves of people.
Yeah. I mean, I get the sentiment, and if our council members are actively working against the interests of the people, and if they're doing something detrimental to the community, I get 100%. We have every right to vote them out. And I get the whole point of being upset. But our experience, if that's worth anything, I know some of you don't care about us, but then you probably aren't watching this anyway.
Or they really are.
Or maybe they are. But our experience, and we've been to many, many, many of these meetings at this point. We've been, again, for over a year straight. We pretty much only missed that one a couple weeks ago because it was my birthday, and I didn't want to go celebrate my birthday at city council. That didn't sound like fun to me. So we didn't go to that one, but mostly we've gone to every single one just so that we can keep an eye on everything that's going on and make sure that we are 100% in the loop on all the stuff that's relevant to what
So going over this etiquette with the city is I need you to tailor your 3 minutes into not attacking flame torch and pitchforks like there's a big bad council that you guys need to convince how bad a data center and convince all these city council members to change their vote or something, because every single council member is with you. They're on your side. They don't want a data center either. So do not come into city council with three minutes worth of hate mail that you want to yell across the room at how bad or whatever. And so we've been through other groups in the last year and a half where 30 people come in for 3 minutes. That's 90 minutes. 90 minutes of trying to convince the city council about chemtrails when the city council is already with you about chemtrails. They don't want it either. But that city council, literally those 30 people, 3 minutes of general comments, and then they all left. And now the whole city agenda didn't get out until 9 p.m. We have city council members that are married, they have kids, they have businesses, and here's a big one that I think not a lot of people know. All the city council members, city council members are volunteers. They are volunteers. They get paid maybe $200 for fuel. Okay, so they're just like you and just like me. The only difference is they went in there to fix the problem and volunteered their time. They're not just coming in for 3 minutes to go yell about something and then I'll never see you again for like a year later about some other topic out of nowhere. And so I need everyone to come and share your 3 minutes, but be very respectful that our volunteer city council members, we have an agenda that we get to pass to that city has to do, and 3 minutes times 30 people is 90 minutes, and we don't need to be getting out at 9 p.m. and thinking that our council is against us in some way. We do not need flame torches and pitchforks. Okay, do not organize in some crazy way and come in with some agenda like you need to attack or something with our council, because you don't. And so hopefully you guys hear this message now before that date, and then you come in and you listen and you learn and you figure out that we are all on the same team. We're all going to be pushing that idea out just like a normal regular day. So that was our main message. I'm glad that Ariel got to politically be on our left side and right side, and then I get to just kind of come in there and just like tell you guys how it is. And so that's our little 15-minute spiel about our update on this data center in Crystal Geyser in Mount Shasta rumor that's going out. And I don't think there is a Friday at 8 a.m. meeting at all. So if you're hearing anything like that, Kim has said that's not happening. And the mayor said other texts that's basically the same thing. It's not happening and they're not for it. And Mayor Pro Tem also made a little post about the facts of what's going on and that she's not with it either. And so just everyone can calm down a little bit and everyone can take a chill pill. And then we'll see you 3 minutes at the next one. Tailor your 3-minute speech and we'll see you there at the next council. Bye.